Hey everybody, Andrew Zimmern here. It's Friday. That means it's the Ask Me Anything edition of Spilled Milk. Please become a paid subscriber. Help me to record AMAs somewhere other than the chili warehouse in central Minnesota from which I am recording this video for you. Despite my swanky sweatshirt. No, it takes a lot to keep the lights on, and we would love you to become paid subscribers. On to today's questions. Mr. Furious writes, isn't that interesting? I hope he's not angry with me. Don't be angry with me, Mr. Furious. How do you deal with safety and wild game? I'm intrigued. I love venison in multiple dishes, but I hate it grilled because I feel like it needs to be cooked completely through to avoid getting parasites. Oh, absolutely not. I like mine nice and medium rare at most. This leaves the venison, well, it depends what cut. This leaves the venison steaks minerally and very, very tough. Yes, it does. If you are cooking luxury cuts of venison all the way through, it will be minerally and very, very tough. I have the same concerns about wild duck and cooking a breast to medium rare or even medium. Well, a breast, yeah. I mean, you know, the legs of either of those animals and which are the working cuts of that animal, can be cooked for a very long time until they're sort of falling off the bone, as it were, in stews or braises, and then you've heated it for long enough time, and temperature is high enough that you would kill plenty of different kinds of bacteria. However, not all. I have greater concern over bacterial harm from supermarket pork than I do from wild game. If you are hunting in a certain region and harvesting your own duck and venison, as it were, you should be talking to the local DNR about any potential diseases and what to look for. When you butcher the animals, the animal will tell you. For anyone who has ever harvested any wild game and found mushy muscles, diseased organs, things like that, you know immediately. I harvested an animal 7 or 8 years ago in another country that was in the venison family. That's liver was brightly spotted. It looked like Arctic char, and I was just like, absolutely not, and just passed. In general, venison and duck are very, 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 very safe. You should, with venison in certain parts of America, be talking to the DNR about chronic wasting disease, which is something that is of great concern. But with duck, you know, inspect the livers and the organs, and that's the best telltale sign. There is nothing better than a seared medium rare duck breast or a seared medium rare piece of venison loin. There's, to me, just nothing better, and the animal will tell you if it has a problem. JR writes, in one of your shows on TV, you ate a type of popcorn. They were a little smaller than popcorn, didn't have scales like regular popcorn. Do you remember what show it was? Of course I do. And the name of that food, plus the country it was that you ate it in. Thanks. Yeah, of course I do. I was there. It was Ethiopia. We went to a coffee shop that was just a shack in the middle of the jungle. We were in a rural part of the country, and as I was walking in along this dirt path from a quarter mile away, you could hear popping, and they were popping sorghum, which is a small grain that pops like popcorn. It turns into little mini kernels, and it's extraordinary. Almost every grain that you can think of, well, I shouldn't say that. A vast majority of grains do pop. Wild rice pops. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that pops, not just corn. And sorghum is fantastic. And yes, it doesn't have certain properties in its seed form that interfere with the pleasure of eating it. It is hull-less. Conventional popcorn has a hull on it, which is a piece outside that when the popcorn pops, those little hulls stay on and they get between your teeth, and they look like little tiny yellow pieces of plastic. So yes, sorghum does not have those. And yeah, Ethiopia. That's what they served for free when you bought your coffee. Brian writes, most of us agree that mom's cooking is the best cooking. Yeah, because it's comfort food, is what we grew up on. It takes us back to a place in time that most of us find enjoyable. Have you ever tasted your favorite childhood dish better than your mom's recipe? All the time. Tasted, of course. I mean, my mom would make, eggplant parmigiana, and I've tasted 100 that are better than hers. Would I trade them all for one more bite of hers circa 1972-73? Of course I would, because it was how I felt sitting at the dining room table eating the food that my mother had cooked. Are there certain things that she cooked that were just, no matter where I have it, no matter how hard I try, I can't quite replicate it? In general, yes. I mean, there's certain recipes my grandmother cooked, my father cooked, my mother cooked, that I have just over the years worked on and figured out a way to do it that ticks the box for me on the comfort food category, that takes me back to that place in time as a little kid growing up in New York. But if I put the two dishes side by side, from a taste and flavor standpoint, I think mine is better. Nothing can replace my mother's gazpacho in the middle of summer when I was a carefree 10-year-old. Nothing. I can never get that back, ever. And that's why things that come close to recreating that are so special. It's what makes comfort food in every sense that you could imagine. Anyway, if you would like to ask questions, become a paid subscriber. We would love you to email folks on your list, tell them to become a paid subscriber. And here's a cool gift idea. It is gift giving season is upon us sooner than you know it. With a paid subscription to Spilled Milk, my Substack, you get a 30% coupon on your next Shun purchase. So if you're listening to me, it means you like food. You give someone you love the gift of Shun and take 30% off. In some cases, that's over $100. Think about that. Way less than the cost of a subscription to Spilled Milk. So we're doing you a vital service in helping you save money. And thanks to our partners at Shun. Anyway, enjoy. See you next week.